Hello, everyone. This is Kerwin, your host of Travel Talk. And in today's episode, I'm going to be talking about a bunch of stuff that when you travel, you should always be mindful of or always take with you. Let's go. So, first, I'm a little under the weather. So, sorry about all that. But a friend of mine called me up yesterday and we were talking about a bunch of stuff that you should do when you travel or take with you when you travel. And so I recognize that from talking with him that I actually talk about these things in different places on my blog, but I've never really talked about them all in one place. So here we go. This is all in one place. And of course, I'm going to miss some stuff, but if there's anything you want to add, feel free to leave a comment or share with your friends and anything like that. And don't forget to subscribe and set notifications for more travel talk. So I've written them down because normally I found that whenever I write these things down, it becomes a little more helpful. Okay, so one of the things that when people have interviewed me in podcasts, and my friend just actually did that, and one of the questions I was asked, what is it that you always have with you regardless? And for me, that's tape. I always have some form of tape with me. And why do you do that? Well, your bag may have a hole in it and you need to mend it. Uh, um, and it can be a duct tape or microfoam tape or whatever kind of tape it is, but you may just need something. Your clothes may have a hole in it and you want to fix it. It's not speed tape that goes on the airplanes, which is really quite good, but this is just duct tape or any kind of tape. The other, speaking of mending, one thing that's good to have is needle and thread. You may lose a button, you may have a hole in your clothes you have to fix. Your zipper may get unstuck or something like that, but you just need some thread or you just need some needle or you need a button to fix it. Most hotels, well, used to give you like a little thing with a needle, a thread, and a little button in it. I don't think they do that anymore, but you can always ask at the concierge desk. They probably have them, but you have to request them. That's kind of how most of the hotels are doing now. Instead of just having them in every hotel and nobody uses them, and I don't know, I guess they used to throw them out. I don't know how all that used to work, but that's something good to have with you at all times. The other thing that works is a trash bag. I have a recyclable trash. It is something I did after COVID started, because what was to happen was they would put your bag, and they still do, in these nasty trays. And so what I would do is put my bag in one of these plastic bags. And you can get these online from their online place that sell um, where you can buy biodegradable bags that you can put your stuff in. So I used to do that. And now what I really do, I just take some because you can only do 3.1 ounce of spray. And once my bag gets out of there, I just spray it and then I'm good to go. You'd be surprised how much bacteria is on those things because they don't clean them. Now, some airports, they actually clean them after every time they go through that thing, they get cleaned. But in the US, it's not a thing. Leave your passport at the hotel. Now, this is one's a little controversial because here's the thing. Some people say, my passport is safer with me. And it depends on where you go. Matter of fact, some countries you are required to keep your passport with you when you if you're visiting that country. So if you get stopped on the street by an immigration official or a police officer or something like that, if you're not a citizen of that country, you're supposed to have your passport with you. So just make sure you check the immigration requirements when you go to countries because you probably need that. I won't say which one I do for safety purposes, of course. But you can decide if you want to take your passport with you or if you want to leave it in the hotel safe. I'd say it probably depends on the type of hotel you're staying. I tend to spend a little more for my hotels. My friends get annoyed at me because I always want to stay at the nice places. But you know what? I don't have to worry about it, right? And I don't want to stay at somewhere cheap and it's in the middle of a really terrible neighborhood. When I stay at the top brands, I know that they've looked at them, they've looked at safety is one of the biggest things they look at, and they'll usually be in places that are safe, quote unquote, right? So just decide what you're going to do with your passport. If you're going to take your passport with you, do not put it in your back pocket. Do not put it in your shirt pocket up here. Do not stick it somewhere where you're going to be running and it's going to get lost. One of the things you can do is get some of those pants that have extra zippers, and you can put them in a zippered section. So if you're running for whatever reason, it doesn't fall out of your pocket. Sometimes what some people do is put it in your back pocket. Then you put your phone in your back pocket, which is a really dumb idea. And then you pull the phone out. And when you're unpulling the phone out, the passport comes out as well. There's a reason why the airlines ask you to see your passport when you're boarding the plane. It's not just to make sure that you are the person that's boarding, which is a primary thing. But now, even with facial recognition, which some airlines are using, they still ask you for your passport. And it's because they want to make sure you have it with you. Because everybody who gets on the plane must have one if you're going international, right? And so if the last time you saw it was when you're boarding the plane, then you lost it on the plane, or you lost it on the jetway or something like that. So that's kind of why one of the reasons why they do that. Okay, so we've got charge your phone. I'm sometimes guilty of this. Bring like go online, go get one of those little charger things and bring an extra charger with you. Keep your phone charged at all time. Of course, for many reasons. You use it for direction. You know, I'm a big Google Maps fan. And when you go international, because you are roaming, your phone is going to use a lot more power because it's trying to find all the networks, because your local company may not have an agreement with all the different international networks that you're going to traverse. So it's trying to find a network that that is with your company, and that sometimes takes up a lot of power. Also, whenever it gets cold or it gets hot, your phone is going to use a lot more juice than normal. So keep the phone charged, bring a charger with you, because stuff like if you have to pay using your Apple Pay or your Samsung Pay or whatever pay thing you have, you want to tap your phone, you will need to have the phone charged to do that. Your boarding pass is in your phone. One thing about the boarding pass, I would say, is I always ask for a paper boarding pass, because 9 times out of 10, when it's time to board, my phone decides, I have an update right now, or it can't connect to the boarding pass. And I'm sitting there, refreshing while everybody is boarding and taking on the bag space. So print a paper boarding pass. It's okay. When you ask the agents, they'll do it. And if they refuse, to say, I'd like to have one, please, because my phone doesn't work very well, which is the truth. Have cash with you. I know we are a cashless society, or heading towards a cashless society, but if you lose your phone, and your phone is what has all your information, or your stuff gets stolen and you have nothing, you should have like a little cash stashed away somewhere on your person, in your bag, maybe in your hotel room if you use the hotel safe. But just bring some cash with you, like $100, $50, whatever it is that you think maybe you may need it to get on a train or a bus or some kind of public transportation. I also have coins, so I have like $1 or $2 worth of quarters with you. I know you guys are saying, really, you have change with you? I know cash is very weird, and normally there are not many places that actually use cash, which is very odd. But when you go someplace international, you need cash, because they don't take credit cards and they don't take your ATMs. I mean, your ATM card doesn't work there. And so you need cash. So take some cash with you. And try to have cash in different places on you. So if you get robbed or the money falls out of someplace, then you may have something elsewhere. And speaking of possibly getting robbed, just be careful when you travel. If your instinct tells you something, then something is wrong. Don't tell yourself, oh no, I'm going to be okay. No, your body is telling you that something is wrong and you should listen to it. Don't go walking down dark alleys. If you're in crowds, keep your stuff in your front pocket usually, and keep your hands close to your pockets. If you feel somebody brushing up to you, just push them away because they're probably trying to rob you. I was in Paris once with three other friends. We had just gotten on the train at the Charles de Gaulle airport, and there were two guys, and we had all sat down, and one of the guys came up to me and he was asking for directions, like which stop to get off. And so I was trying to practice my French, and I was talking to him in French, and in the meantime, the train door was still open. In the meantime, his friend was sitting on the other side of the two ladies I was with and stuck his hand over the the train seat in order to put his hand in her bag. She noticed and she goes, "Hey," and he darted out the other door. And the guy who was talking to me darted out the other door, and the train door closed almost immediately. So, one guy was, I guess, a decoy, so the other guy could do his dirty deed. So be careful. I always like to help people when I travel, and you should too. But just be cognizant and careful that there's some people out there that all they're looking to do is just to rob you of whatever you have. And when stuff gets stolen, you need to go to the police station and report it. And in some countries, it is easier than others to do that. So just be very careful when you travel. And don't take, I see people traveling and they have like a backpack in front of them, a backpack behind them, and a bag dragging around. If you can, don't do that. Don't take a whole bunch of junk with you because you don't need it. If you need to wash something, and typically what I do, I take enough clothes to last for 5 to 7 days. Enough underwear to last for 5 to 7 days. And then I have shirts for like 3 to 4 days or something like that. After that, I'm washing. And if some places like I think I was in Spain once and I washed and it rained. And so because it rained, there wasn't enough I guess the humidity was too much and the stuff wouldn't dry. And so I ended up the next morning using the iron to try to get the stuff to dry. But if you go to stuff like the Caribbean, and actually behind me is Jamaica in the countryside. If you go to the Caribbean, you just put stuff outside and it dries like almost immediately. I forgot where I was. Um, I might have been Jamaica, and my clothes was dried within 30 minutes of putting it outside. It was great. So you don't have to take a lot of stuff with you. Who cares if you had the same clothes on in all the pictures? It doesn't matter. I mean, you don't have to be like an outfit for. I mean, I'm talking about your safety here, and I think your safety is more important than looking good. Although that may be a different thing for some people. Sorry, my nose is itching. But just be careful, right? Just be careful when you go out there. Medication. Make sure you have your proper medication with you. And if you can, take the prescription. Now, some of this might be electronic, right? But what you can do, you can tell your doctor, look, I'm going to be traveling. Can you send me a copy of the prescription so you have it? Because sometimes, depending on what you're taking through immigration or customs to different country, it might be against the law. But if you have a prescription, then you should be okay. So make sure you do that kind of thing. It's not just prescription drugs. So for example, you need to know what is the drug here. Like, let's say you're taking Panadol. So Panadol is in the UK. I think Panadol is equivalent to Tylenol. So what you do, find out what the ingredient is, whether it's I think it's usually acetaminophen, and I think paracetamol, I think is the other one. But just look at the bottle. It'll tell you what the drug is that's inside whatever you're taking. And then what you do, you Google or call your doctor and say, this is what it is. And the doctor will probably tell you, well, when you go to the UK, they don't have Tylenol, so you have to take Panadol. Also remember that the quantities might be different. I was in Germany once, and I was not feeling well. I had a flu, and it was Christmas. It was really cold outside, and I somehow contracted. And I asked my friend, "Hey, do you have anything for the flu?" So he gave me Panadol. Didn't read it. I just took two. They were 500 milligrams, and so as 1,000 milligrams, I was knocked out. But the flu was gone. Because normally in the US, it's like 325 milligrams, and you take two and you're good. But I took 1,000. So just make sure you check that when you travel. Same thing like cough medicine and cough drops and things like that. Sometimes things that are prescription in the US is not prescription in other countries. The other thing too is that if you know home remedies, ginger is always good. I was in Peru, and my friend who I was with was sick from the food. And so be careful of that as well. Don't eat anything off the street. So he got sick. There's three of us. Two of us, he got sick because I think he had the pork and we had the chicken and the beef. For some reason, the pork wasn't cooked properly and he got sick. So I went to the pharmacy and was trying to get, now this is Peru, so they didn't have whatever that thing is for your stomach. I forgot what it's called, but they don't have the stomach thing that we have here in the US. But they had something called, it's not Fensic. Fensic is what they usually have in Jamaica. Andrews. And Andrews is really good for your stomach. And so I was able, the funny thing was when I got to the pharmacy, they had on the counter is all the stuff that you'd need for stomach aches, because apparently this is what happens to most tourists who visit. And so I was able to get some Andrews, but I really wanted ginger. And so I didn't know the Spanish word for market, which I think is mercado, something like that now. And so I took like a little tuk-tuk, took it from the pharmacy down to the market to find ginger. And I'm searching all over for ginger, and I'm just looking around because I don't know Spanish, and I know a few words, but not enough to be conversational. So I'm just walking around looking for ginger, and then eventually I found it, and I forgot what the word is for ginger. But I know if you know it, just let me know. So then I pointed to it, got some ginger, got back to the hotel, washed it, and beat it up, put it in some water. And the guy at the hotel was there. I said, "Can I use your kitchen?" He's like, "Yes." So I went into his kitchen, did all that, got the tea ready, and gave it to my friend. And in no time, he was better. So ginger is very, very, very good. You can't take a lot of this stuff with you in your carry-on because TSA and airport security is different in different places. But you can probably carry it in your bag. So if you want to bring some ginger in your bag, you can do that. If you don't want to bring the raw ginger, you can bring ginger tea, and make sure you get really strong ginger tea. And that's the other thing, always bring tea. I have ginger tea with me, and I have mint tea with me all the time. Because on the airplane, they have this black tea, and black tea is okay, but black tea doesn't fix your stomach when you have an issue. And so you can always ask them for hot water on the plane, and then you can put your tea in. So that's a good thing to bring with you. I think we talked about being cognizant where you are. Always remember the rules for the place that you're going. Don't assume that because you're from a certain country and you can do whatever you want in other countries, you can do the same here. No. Also, if you're going to like a mosque or a church or something like that, women has to be dressed a certain way, and men have to be dressed a certain way. Something you can't wear shorts, you have to wear long pants. Some places they'll take your passport, give you a long pants, and when you come back, they give it back to you. So it's kind of different in different places. Turn off location on your phone at your hotel. Why? If you're going to be posting on social media, turn off the location thing, because you don't necessarily want everybody to know where you are, when you are. And when you take photos, if you have the location turned on your phone, the photos capture that location. And so people can know exactly where you are. I was at a hotel in Spain on a trip once, and I was posting, and this guy said, "Hey, he put a thing on, goes, hey, can I come show you around? I'm a local fireman." And I was like, "No," because I don't know this person, right? And I know that a lot of the younger generation, they're like, "Oh yeah, let's go do this," but I was like, "No." And it probably would have been a good deal, getting shown around by a local person. But I felt something was wrong, and I went to my gut instinct. And then I went, no, I'm going to be busy. I got some other stuff to do. So just be careful of posting your location when you travel. Talk about having some change. Take snacks with you when you travel, especially now, since like every flight is so short, and all they give you is biscuits and pretzels or some really awful snacks. And the airlines are terrible. I mean, I used to work for one of them, but three of them, but they're terrible when it comes to snacks, because a lot of the snacks have a lot of preservatives in it, and this is what they have, right? And so you can get cookies, you can get pretzels, and it's all salts and things like that. As you get older, these kind of things don't really work well with your body. So I bring my own snacks. I bring crackers. I bring my banana chips that doesn't have any salt in it. I bring my cashew nuts if I want. And so, because that's the snacks that I want on the flights, right? So bring your snacks, especially if you have like delays or anything like that, and they're not serving you food, or they're taking a long time to serve you food. Water is good to bring with you. Only thing is it's so expensive at the airports now. But I guess if you bring your little bottle thing, then you can probably refill them in the lounges. And some airports actually have places that you can refill your water bottles. So that's pretty good. Um, Take a shirt, a t-shirt, and an underwear in your bag. Because if the airline loses your bag, and if you travel enough, it happens, at least you have something. You have the one you're wearing, plus you have another one in your bag. And so if you happen to be delayed and you're washing one, then at least you have one to wear until the other one gets dried. Now the thing is, there is travel insurance, but the travel insurance helps you later, so you can make a claim. And like I was just my flight was delayed recently, and I they gave me like $12 in the airport, and $12 doesn't buy you much in the airport at all. And so I spent a little extra, so I'm going to claim the little extra on my travel insurance. I'm going to see how that works. It's not too much, but I want to see how the process works. The other thing is, take an extra toothbrush. Uh, I've been get to the hotel, take up my toothbrush, ready to brush my teeth, and for some reason it fell in the toilet, because the toilet's right there. And so the toothbrush fell in the toilet. And I'm like, well, what do I do now? Well, luckily I had another toothbrush in my bag. Other thing to have in your bag is oftentimes when you go to restaurants, they'll give you those little packets. Or even on the airplanes, they'll give you a little packet, and inside the packet it has like your fork, your spoon, and your little knife. And so I keep one of those little packets with me, because sometimes, like when I go to Germany, they make these little cakes, and I love these little cakes. But I never have a knife, and so I normally have my little knife with me that I can use to cut the cake. Now, depending on what type of airport security you go through, they may, but I think with the little serrated knife, the blades are short enough, and they're little wooden knives. You should be okay with taking that through airport security. But as I talk about shopping, you can go to the grocery store when you travel and get a whole bunch of stuff that you need. This is actually what I do when I travel these days, because the hotel food is normally very expensive, and they normally don't have what I eat. And so I will go to the grocery store and I get like some local juices, or I'll get some fruits, or I'll get water or stuff like that. Last time I went to Vegas, I got like I think it was 8 bottles of water, and when I got to the hotel, they also had water. But it helps, because sometimes these rooms, you get so dry and you need to drink the water. And when you travel, you should drink water, just to keep your body hydrated. And so those are the things that I think when you travel, it's kind of don't leave your home without them. And one thing you can do is that you can let people know, who your family members that you're traveling, where you are. So in case something happens and I don't hear from you, that at least know where you were the last time. And since there's so many things going on in the world, if you are, you should try to register with your local consulate when you arrive wherever you're going. Because if there have to be some kind of evacuation or something like that, then they can notify you. And please get travel insurance. I know people get annoyed when you talk about travel insurance, think you're trying to sell them something. Yes, you're trying to sell you something, but it's something that will help you. So get travel insurance and make sure that you're comfortable with what you're covered for, and that you understand what you're covered for. All right, this is Kerwin with PassRider.com and Cruisinaltitude.com, and I want to thank my friend for reminding me that I should have done this video a long time ago. Have a good trip, and we'll talk soon.